Good morning everybody, Matt back with you, hope you're okay. Well, it's a beautiful day in the neighbourhood and today I'm starting this walk in Brighouse. I did have other things to film today, but I wanted to come and take advantage of the weather and be out in nature for a while, so please don't blame me for that. Look at this, we're on the canal in Brighouse. We've got another mile to go and we're going to go and have a look at the Cromwell Bottom Nature Reserve. But of course it wouldn't be the dark side of the moor without a dark and grisly tale to tell you as well. This really is an absolutely stunning place. I've never been here before. It's one of those places I've always meant to come to, and quite often see people posting on Facebook on a Sunday that they've been to Cromwell Bottom. I've never been here. I don't have any history. I don't know if this was a place full of mills or something like that, but it truly is stunning. So sorry I can't give you that bit of information, but for the first part of this video we'll just have a look around Cromwell Bottom, see what's here, and then the second half, it's the ghost story. Say we have a very tight schedule with this channel, and we truly do have things booked right up to August. Sometimes it's just nice to just have a random day and change things. And like I mentioned earlier, I've never been here before. I didn't know what I was going to find, and it's nice just to bring you along with me. Yeah, if Tom or Danielle can't be with me, you're my company today. Yeah, beautiful location, and I don't know what else we're going to find. Interesting colour. Can only presume coming from old mines. So I checked and found out that nearby was Elland Power Station, and all the ash from that power station was actually dumped here at Cromwell Bottom, and since then, of course, it's now a nature reserve, the power station having been demolished at least 3 decades ago. Right, so that was Cromwell Bottom Nature Reserve, and even though I think it was only the small part of it, the kind of marshland area, the whole thing's really nice. The whole walk's been nice. But it's time to move on to our ghost story. And what we're looking for is a house called Ashgrove. It was a 19th century, quite imposing building, and I can't find any photos of what it used to look like, even though for quite a few decades in the 20th century it was a derelict ruin and apparently looked very much like the stereotypical haunted house. It's since been turned into apartments since the early mid-90s, and it was only then that strange things started happening. So suddenly, this is Elland Road, it's suddenly a very busy road. I'm hoping the building is obvious, but we'll find out. Okay, so it is the building coming up on the left hand side. So I think this is as close to it as we're going to be able to get, and obviously it's very busy with cars, so let's just look at it. I'll tell you the story back in a quiet place. Wow, how exciting is that? Up there somewhere. Yep, not for us. So, mid-90s and the residents of Ashgrove House start to move in. And one of the first residents is the first to notice something peculiar. On the way down the staircase, inside, obviously, he starts to smell cigarettes. Yet he was quite sure that nobody would be smoking cigarettes in the house, and possibly banned even back then. But they seemed to have a very certain smell that he recognised, like woodbine cigarettes. As he reached the bottom of the staircase, there was a man in front of him, dressed very much like a gentleman. He bowed at the resident, walked past him, and disappeared. Over time, more residents started to say that they had seen this gentleman ghost at the bottom of the stairs, bowing, walking on, and disappearing, and that smell of woodbine cigarettes. Didn't do any harm, didn't really scare anybody as such. It was just very strange. So what somebody then started to do was to look back through the house's history and try and find out what had been going on there. And they discovered a man who had been born there in 1876, and he died in the First World War. Lieutenant Geoffrey Otto Charles Edwards, born in Ashgrove in 1876. In his youth, he'd actually been a keen rower and was a member of the famous Oxford team that would go against Cambridge in the boat race. During the First World War, he'd gone to France in May 1916, and just 2 months later was killed in action. But his body was never recovered. Could this be the gentleman ghost of Ashgrove? But then more reports started to come in, not of the gentleman ghost, but of activity on the top floor of an apartment there. A lady said she would feel something brush past her leg. In the middle of the night, a footstool on the floor would suddenly move across the floor. It's impossible to not hear it being dragged. And then, most frightening of all, something leapt onto the bed at her feet. When she looked, though she couldn't see anything specific, she could see there was an imprint on the bed where something had just been there. She left after a month. The room she was in was the former servants' quarters. So whether any spooky activity still goes on in Ashgrove House is unknown to me. However, if you do watch this and you live there and think, something, I did spot something or I did smell something, you can let me know. And as always, with my videos, you can just believe what you wish to believe. It's totally fine. Either way, it is just a story. But it's not quite the end of our ghosts in this area, because you may recall some time ago we did a video in Elland, which is, we're at Brighouse that way, Elland that way, of a headless horseman that used to be seen. And that headless horseman has even been seen as far as here at Cromwell Bottom. Now, presume it's not a separate headless horseman. Presume it would be the same one. But yeah, if you're interested in looking at the headless horseman of Elland, this is what you need to look for. Okay, there we go, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little ghost story and a walk through a beautiful Cromwell Bottom Nature Reserve. If you find yourself in the Brighouse area, well, head here. I don't think you'll regret it if you like nature. There's little hides for you can watch birds and things. There are walks into the trees which you may never come out of, so yeah, certainly a place worth visiting. But in the meantime, please take care, enjoy whatever you're up to, and enjoy the sunshine. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff, and we have so much more to come. See you soon. Bye for now.